Morning, folks. Here we go again. Assistant Galileo, 2 kilometers in between them. A dark night. 1607. How on earth do people not see how ridiculous this is? How on earth? It doesn't even matter that it's 1607. You go out, find yourself 2 little hilltops that are a couple of kilometers apart. You and a friend. You have no electricity, no devices, nothing. How on earth would you and your friend be 2 kilometers apart, right? Not being able to contact each other, and somehow all you have is a lantern, right? And somehow you can even have a third party in the middle looking at both of you, however you want to structure this ridiculousness. How on earth are you going to lift the lantern so the lantern appears and the person 2 k's away can see the light and somehow time how it got to his eyesight? Many years ago, my grandmother used to say to me, it's the one thing she always used to say. Oh, don't trust anybody. My grandmother, don't trust anybody. All the time she used to tell me, right? And it turned out she was correct. Not even the government. Do not trust anybody. That's what she used to say to me. Used to go and visit her. Hey man, don't trust anybody. Ever don't. So far in my life, she hit the nail on the head. Down to one person that we can trust at the moment. Don't trust anybody. Because to some degree, everybody will eventually, let you down. It's just the way it is, right? Now, my grandfather, something about my granddad. He used to know every single word. He used to know the meaning. And he used to have a dictionary, or a few dictionaries, right? This is back in the 1970s. And he used to say to me, because we used to play Scrabble a lot, right? And he knew every word in the dictionary. He said, take it, ask me a word. All right, what does such and such mean? Boom, give me the definition, right? My granddad, right now, would be lost, right? Now, the reason for the lostness is because of things like the photon has been invented when it doesn't really exist. And along with the photon comes something else and something else. So all of a sudden, there are definitions for things that don't make any sense. There's a kind of alternate fabricated world, but people do not know how to recognize what's real and what is fake. This is very serious. If you are seeing this and you are watching this, consider yourself lucky and pass it on to somebody else, please, because this is a slam dunk. This is the truth, right? Now, life. I'm going to read something out. When I ask for people to say, I say, send me a proper logical explanation for how finite light can work with a solar eclipse. How? I want a breakdown. Give me a breakdown. Like if I was talking about a black cat. There is a black cat on a wall. It is hungry. I can tell by the way it's looking at me and wagging its tail. You can break all those things down. If I know the cat, I know that he wags his tail when he's hungry. The way he looks at me, where's my dinner? It's black, it's on a wall, things like that. You can break that sentence down and it all makes sense. You can see the black cat. You can see it's hungry. Anybody who knows that cat knows this is how it behaves when it's hungry, right? But when I ask for a logical, this is one of the words, a logical explanation for how a solar eclipse can play out with finite light, the stuff that I'm getting sent, it's unbelievable. So I look at that and think, what are they saying? Do they think they are making sense, right? Now, I have a very logical mind. thought it was a gift, but it's turning out to be a bit of a pain in the ass. I am about to read something. It's about Roma and the speed of light, how it was done in 16 whenever it was. Now what I am saying, I slam dunk this, okay? What I'm about to read you, it's not that long, it didn't happen. First of all, I know it didn't happen. The reason I know it didn't happen is because I have the basic common sense to understand that during a solar eclipse, when the sun is directly behind the moon, there is no light delay. The end. That's where my line ends. So anybody who starts talking to me like photons, I know for a fact that they are wrong. Everything that comes after the photon, 1905, and that is related to the photon, makes no sense whatsoever, okay? It's just the way it is. Now, I'm going to read little parts of this. Now, this is a study, right? It says, do-it-yourself astronomy for amateur astronomers. Speed of light, Rome's method. Jasjeet Singh Bagla, Centre for Science Education and Communication, 10 Cavalry Lane, University of Delhi. Delhi 110 or 110007. Now, what I'm saying is this is made up. Okay? I'm saying this is made up. And I know it's made up because the solar eclipse tells me this. This is how life works. When you see something and you know something for a fact, it doesn't matter what other people tell you. It doesn't matter if the rest of the planet believes there are photons. There are no photons. Because during a solar eclipse, the only way it can play out is with absolute light from the sun. There is no delay. So when you keep telling me that there are photons, I know that you are seeing things wrong. It's not something that can be mistaken for an 8-minute and 20-second light delay, if you don't mind me saying, okay? Now I'm going to read parts of this. This is related to the people who are sending me what they think is logical explanations for how a solar eclipse can play out with finite light. It clearly can't, okay? But these people believe what they're saying. Well, it's not that they believe what they're saying, because I recognize a lot of things have been copied, because I do read a lot online. The amount of people, the amount of stuff online that makes no sense, but that people then copy paste to try and convince me, it never ceases to amaze me. And that again, it is an obvious sign that people, they don't understand what they're being told, but it makes sense for them to copy and paste it to try and make me understand what they clearly don't understand, because they've had to copy paste rubbish, right? Listen to this, right? God, I haven't even had my morning coffee yet. So listen to this. Abstract. Rome's experiment was the first experimental proof of the now well-accepted fact that the velocity of light is finite. Right there, the very beginning. The accepted fact. How? What on earth are they talking about? This is how deep interwoven the lies are. During a solar eclipse, do you know how big the sun is and how big the moon is? If it's round, okay? I'm not saying, again, flat, round. It's not about that. It's about the absolute light radiating from that star. There is no delay. There can be no solar eclipse with finite light. The end. My eyes, I can see. I don't need people to tell me that there are photons. There are no photons involved. It is that basic. It's that basic. But, and for the people going, what's he talking about? Have you seen a solar eclipse? Do you detect any kind of light delay? This right here is the root of the problem, people. We are at the root. Everything that came, once this photon thing was accepted, is an illusion, right? You can see why I'm saying, if you actually see this, share it, because there is no light delay during a solar eclipse. How many times, if I have to line every single person up on this planet and tell you to your face and explain it to you, I will, because there is a lot riding on this. It's an illusion. The whole chit-chabang and cadoodle, or whatever it is, there is no light delay in the light reaching us from the sun. It's absolute light. You put something in between the sun and it casts a shadow. The sun is directly behind anything that is casting a shadow using its light. There is no delay. Let me just read that again. This is the very beginning of it. Romer's experiment was the first experimental proof of the now well-accepted fact that the velocity of light is finite. How on earth can anybody write that? Because light is not finite. There is no way a solar eclipse can work with finite light, because the light source cannot be lined up with the object casting its shadow. I'm talking about Earth. That distance, it's perfect. 8 minutes and 20 seconds is quite a delay. 2.08 degrees in degrees of axis turn. Planet Earth turns 2.08 degrees if it's round and everything is as they say, the 24 hours and night, day, okay? It turns 2.08 degrees on its axis in 8 minutes and 20 seconds. How can the sun be directly behind the photons of it that are casting the shadow if it's taken 8 minutes and 20 seconds for the photons to get here? No. Can you see where we're at? Now, the people who are saying, what is he on about? What I am on about is understanding that what we see, it's very important, right? But the lies have just jumped well over the original finite light lies, right? Because light is absolute. There is no delay. There is no delay. If there is a delay, somebody explain to me how a solar eclipse, how about these astrophysicists, all of these people who are talking photons and gluons and merry-go-round-ons, why are they not stepping up to answer the question? How can a solar eclipse work with finite light? Their silence is all the evidence that is needed, right? I'll carry on reading because it's about understanding that you're being fed rubbish, right? I was going on about my granddad at one stage back in the 70s. He died in the 1980s, I think. I can't remember, a long time ago, rest in peace. Every single definition, every single word in any English dictionary that you could have given him. Right now, my granddad would be like, what the? Because of all of the garbage, made up, illusionary stuff. Let me carry on reading. Introduction. Speed of light is a fundamental constant of nature. A number of methods have been employed to measure it. Olaus Römer was the first person to measure the speed of light, and the method he used is now known as the Römer's method. Now that is obviously wrong, because they go on about him detecting some kind of light delay. The further away we were, the further away planet Earth was from Jupiter, the longer it took the sun's light to get to Jupiter and then to bounce all the way back to Römer's telescope. So they put it down to a light delay. It's clearly rubbish, because during a solar eclipse, there is no light delay. So how come Roma was spotting some kind of light delay? He didn't. Go away. Galileo, his assistant, 2 to 4 kilometers apart at night time. No electrics, no way of communicating to each other. So how exactly did they communicate before one of them lifted their lantern? Or was it just a case of, I'm going to surprise you, so as soon as you see my lantern, you open yours at the same time, and then I'll understand that the speed of light takes however long it is before I see your lantern. When you see mine, if you pull yours up straight away, then I see it, boom, boom, then we've got the speed of light. And how would he write it down? Did he have a stopwatch? No, they didn't have any accurate timekeeping devices. This is food for the gullible, okay? Right. Before Roman measured the speed of light, it was assumed to be infinite. It was quite natural of ancients to think so because the speed of light is several magnitudes larger than anything they were used to. What does that mean? What does that mean? See, what does that mean? Straight away. What is it? People read that and think, oh, cool, and carry on. Listen to it again. Before Roma measured the speed of light, it was assumed to be infinite. It was quite natural of ancients to think so because the speed of light is several magnitudes larger than anything they were used to. So the speed of light is 7 magnitudes larger than what the ancients were used to. What does that mean? What does that mean? There you go. The first, the abstract, the Roma, what was it? What did they call it? The introduction, and then the first lines of what is written. The speed of light is several magnitudes larger, bigger than what the ancients were used to. What? Honestly, but people, you're reading this stuff, thinking it makes sense, and then you're throwing it at me as a logical explanation for how things are. No. It's wrong. Let's listen again. We're going to move on. Soon after Renaissance, ships started travelling to faraway lands and need for maintaining a time standard arose. As clocks were not available on ships and there was no radio, the only possibility left was in the sky. You could predict some event, and by observing that, a reasonably accurate time could be maintained. Cassini observed the eclipses of the Galilean satellites of Jupiter and found that they occurred at regular time intervals and could easily be predicted without resorting to any esoteric geometrical arguments. Now, we are talking hundreds of years ago. Oh, everybody knew that the 4 moons were eclipsed in Jupiter. They used it as a time machine. Not a time machine to travel, but to tell what time it was. What's Europa doing with Jupiter? There it is, look, so it must be such and such a time. What a load of rubbish. This is where people get lost. They do not know how to differentiate between what is real and what isn't, and what is possible and what isn't. And the reason for that is the amount of crap that they've been fed. It's just the way it is. This is all a load of gunk. It just is, right? Oh, God. Right. As clocks were not available on ships and there was no radio, the only possibility was a sky. Right, I've done that. Cassini observed the eclipses of the Galilean satellites of Jupiter and found that they occurred at regular time intervals. What a load of rubbish. And could easily be predicted without resorting to any esoteric geometrical arguments. Could easily be. Now, see this telescope here? I guarantee you this was better than any telescope they had in the 1600s. I look up at Jupiter with this, right? I have seen Europa, Ganymede, Europa, Ganymede. forgotten the name of the other one. Io and what's the other one? Callisto. The 4 of them. I have seen the 4 of them. The only reason I know which one is which is because of the chart, right? And the thing I have on my phone, an app, the night sky, it tells you where things are. So I'm relying on that to tell me which moon I am seeing orbiting Jupiter. It's a weird one. I'm waiting for Jupiter it's in the sky in the early hours of the morning. So the next couple of days, I'm going to do it. I'm going to put my phone on there and I am going to talk through what I'm seeing, and you decide if that could have been done in the 1600s with a 1600s version telescope with no light, no way of communicating with anybody, no way of writing down an accurate time for when anybody was doing anything or seeing anything. It's ridiculous how people have fallen for this stuff. But to bring it back, I'm trying, but this will be censored because it's the truth. It's the lies. It's unbelievable. Right, I'm going to read a little bit more and then I'm going to call this. Could easily be recorded. Later, Romer at Paris Observatory discovered that his predictions based on near opposition data were off by a large amount. In fact, as much as 10 minutes near conjunction. Listen to that again. Later, Romer at Paris Observatory discovered that his predictions based on near opposition data. What is the opposition data? What is that? Because based on that opposition data, he was out by 10 minutes. What is the opposition data? Where does one go to have a look at the opposition data? And this is what I mean. They throw things in like this, and people, instead of going, what is opposition data? They just take it for granted that there is opposition data out there. And that is why Romer thought he was out by 10 minutes. Guys, I have a very logical mind. This stuff is crap. It's rubbish. And do you know how everybody should know this? Because during a solar eclipse, there is no visible light delay. The light radiating from the sun is absolute. If anybody can find even a millisecond of delay in the light reaching the moon and the moon casting its shadow here on planet Earth, the sweet spot that people find themselves in when they're looking up at the sun, let me know where that delay is. Until then, I suggest everybody wake the fuck up, because you need to wake up. Well, I'm going to call that now. Just the rest of it is just rubbish. It's just rubbish. How on earth did Romer in 1676, when he was with his telescope, what did he use to write down, not pen or pencil, I mean timekeeping? I've just seen that Io come out now, I think. What time is it, Romer? What time are you going to put? He's in the dark with the telescope. Just see Io come out for what time? What time is it? What are you going to use so that you have a record of the time that you first saw Io? What do you use? Guys, it's so stupid. But everybody believes it. All of it is rubbish. All right, that was a great start to a Monday. 24, at least we kept it under 30. All right, peeps, I will be back. Oh yes, I will be back. Make sure you share this. Laters.